Hey, baby, it's 8 o'clock on Tuesday night, and this is your old pal, Mass Comedian X. Happy to be here with you. You know, we don't have anybody from Portugal tonight, which is kind of a shame because that was kind of fun last week with him.
That was a good show. That was a good guest.
It was a great guest.
John, I think, right? Yeah, John needs to come back sometime. Well, we talked about possibly doing a reaction show or post show to Double or Nothing with him.
Yeah, and I think that'd be a lot of fun.
I think that'd be a lot of fun.
This week we got what do we got?
We got us. No guests this week, guys.
So let me ask you this. Did you watch any wrestling this week?
Yeah, I did. But before we go further, I got to show you something.
I found so much crazy stuff this week. But go ahead, pop it up there, and we'll share it.
No, so with the whole being safe right now, never gotta wear masks. Have you been wearing masks out?
When I go out, yes, I have been wearing masks.
See, I haven't had any. I got a few that didn't work out. They were too small for my fat face and big head. And then I have some now that I got that are fine, but I just
hold on. Let me show you this. I'll pull this one on because this one my son got for me, and it's one of those stretchy ones.
You look like Deadpool.
I'm totally Deadpool right now, so I could go out like this. And aside from people thinking that I was straight out of stupid, but it's very comfortable. I don't notice it. It's not 100%. Oops, I'm pulling it all the way down. It's not 100% like it doesn't pass the candle test, but it's pretty good. And I don't overheat with it. And Jesus God, look at me now.
You look like Deadpool.
All right, well, no, it's not going to be the Deadpool because let's be honest, I don't want to keep
very protected.
I don't want to keep wearing this mask.
Well, hang on though. Check this out though. So I've had trouble finding a mask.
Yeah,
I found one and it fits pretty decent and it's comfortable. So I have one that I'm going to wear, and I didn't even look at it that hard. I'll put it on real quick. I just saw that there is a wrestling guy on it.
Oh,
so I got it. Can you see that?
Yeah, we'll turn it the other way. Yeah, well, that's
no. The funny thing is, the nice thing too is these little can't barely even see in that little strap. So
yeah, your ear loops.
That, and it's got the thing for the filter. But if you look closer, because I was like, oh, it's got a little lucha guy on it. Of course, I'll buy that and wear it. I'm a wrestling fan. Upon further review, when I got it today, I guess I didn't look that hard to see. But that mask awfully looks familiar.
I've been ripped off. I've been ripped off. Anyway, this is, and I like this mask because I can use it as a hood. You know, if I get it up there far and I gotta string it all out there. They can use it as a baklava. I can use it as any different kind. But this is the best way right here. Just my eyes showing. Just a little bit.
Definitely look like you're ready to rob a bank.
Or I'd rather rob a Taco Bell today because it's Taco Tuesday and Cinco de Mayo.
I know, it's a great day.
Did you do anything to celebrate Cinco de Mayo?
I had some tacos. I got some tacos from a place I like.
Good for you. What place?
El Sueno.
Oh, I've heard of that.
Yeah, it's good. They messed up my order a little bit tonight, so I wasn't happy, but it was still good.
Well, I'm sure they were busy.
I'm sure they were. So, but yeah, I was very surprised though. I was like, I totally indirectly bought a face mask that is wearing Mass Comedian X. So good stuff. But yeah, should we start talking about wrestling?
Yeah, well, we can talk about wrestling, or we can talk about the mask.
Oh, yeah, whenever you want to do that.
I don't. So here's the thing. For those of you that are watching, and if you've watched the show before, you know that I wear a mask every single time we do a show. And I got to be honest with you. It's uncomfortable as fuck. And it's become more uncomfortable with our stay-at-home order because I am putting on weight, and it makes my face hurt. I mean, this thing is okay. It's like keeping this is nothing. My under mask. I got an under mask and an over mask. I have another mask that's more comfortable, but the red one is the one that matches the branding. And the whole thing is, it's like, God, it's just uncomfortable. I can't see good in it because I'm supposed to be wearing reading. What I'm supposed to do. I need to wear reading glasses in order to see stuff.
I always wish you just wear the glasses over the mask.
I understand. There's nothing to hold them on. There's nothing to hold them on.
I just wish it would work. It would be so great.
Well, then I got to jam them in my eye. It's like, it doesn't work. I can't even get one in there. And in the whole, it just becomes this gigantic mess. And to be honest, what we've been thinking about is, because of the fact that we have been getting more guests on and becoming a little bit more legitimate, our hope is that maybe we'll rebrand and rename. Although I like the Mask Comedian X, I just don't know if I want to wear the mask anymore.
Yeah, and the way I look at it is, going forward, you can just wear the mask whenever you feel like it. We can still call you Mask Comedian X. But yeah, things were going a little bit better than we thought when we started this, just for fun. So it's like, we might as well look at that. There he is. The funny thing is, we always say, like, oh no, we can't take the mask off, and then at the end of every show we plug your non-wearing mask shows here in the day. So it wouldn't be that hard
people can track me down if they want to. And a lot of people, and honestly, a lot of the people that I know that are comedians that actually ever watch this they already know.
Yeah. And I've called you JR before many times.
Yeah, and that's fine. I'm irritated because I'd love to be called JR in here, but I can't be because there's already a wrestling guy named JR.
Yeah, let's do it. We're gonna just do it from here on out. Change that for next Tuesday.
Okay.
So it says JR, and next Tuesday, I guess we'll just introduce, the whole thing is, we're gonna rename the show.
Yeah.
So,
and we're gonna come up with a good name though in a week.
Yes. So Tuesday, next week's show, Tuesday, we'll have a guest. I'm not 100% sure who yet, but we're working on it, as well as a brand new name of the show.
That'll be good.
Yeah.
We might even have a prize.
Ooh. Good stuff.
You know what? If we could come up with 2 or 3 names, or maybe if somebody would come up with a name, I'd give them a prize to come up with a name.
Yeah, for sure. Anybody watching, if you have an idea of a name, let us know. Throw it in the comments.
We did have, I will say this, we had so many people that were watching because of Jow last week. Oh my God, that was so nice. And they all commented, and they all that's what it's like to have fans.
Yeah, shout out to Portugal. Thanks for
so all of our friends in Portugal, that was fantastic. All right, so let's go ahead and move into wrestling.
Yeah.
All sorts of goofy stuff going on.
Yeah, let's start with Dynamite. I guess we should go in order of how the shows went down.
Well,
last Wednesday, Dynamite, another TNT Championship tournament. So we see, I'm going to just run through this card really quick. Sammy Guevara, Darby Allin, Darby wins.
Freaking fantastic.
Great match. A really good match. But you knew those two were capable of it. They've done it before, and that was probably the best one they've done.
Oh, God, yeah. Yeah.
Really good match. Then we had Alan Angels versus Kenny Omega. Omega obviously wins. Havoc versus Cassidy. Cassidy gets the win. Setting up for Best Friends versus Kip Sabian and Havoc. Lee Johnson versus Wardlow, and Justin Law versus Brody Lee. And then the main event was Kit Sabian with Penelope Ford out there against Dustin Rhodes with Brandy Rhodes.
I think you're off a week.
Wrong?
I think you're off a week. Because we had the we're down to the finals for the tournament. Lance Archer did indeed wrestle against Dustin in the main event last week. And that was one of the things that I was going to bring up. Is I was very surprised that on a show like that, Dustin bled. But of course, he's gonna. I mean, I think Dustin is gonna bleed every match he has from now on.
He tries to bleed anymore. I think it just happens by accident.
Well, no, this one was. It was clear that this one was an intentional. But
do you like what the weird part is? He all of a sudden went to this "I'm retiring" angle. If he loses, but he had just started that tag team with QT Marshall.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what's actually going on, like what they're actually planning on doing.
Honestly, I don't think he's going to do the retirement mode.
I don't think he will fully retire. He may not wrestle as much. He's going to always be around as a coach and producer backstage, is my guess.
Right.
I don't know why he wouldn't. I don't know why his brother wouldn't give him a job. So I mean, like, he's going to always be around. I think we just may not see him wrestle as much.
Well, he's over 50 years old, isn't he?
Yeah.
So
I'm not sure exactly how old, but I'm pretty positive he's over 50.
I mean, he's fairly, that'd be like me wrestling, which nobody would want to see that.
I might.
Yeah, right. Some people might want to see it.
Who you going against?
Honky Tonk Man.
Yeah, I'd pay anybody to watch that, just so I would beat the shit out of it.
I got to tell you though, if you've got the whole rundown for Dynamite now, there are a couple of things that I thought were fantastic. Britt Baker's role model video was so freaking good. Oh my God, was that good?
She's made some really big improvement in the last 3 months as far as her promo and mic skills. I mean, wrestling's gotten a little better too, but I mean, that was the thing for her, is it was like, I don't want to hear her talk. And now it's like, okay, I don't mind it as much.
Yeah. So that was great. And I honestly thought the match between Lance Archer and Dustin was pretty fantastic, given the fact that, I mean, when Archer was throwing all these other little guys around,
right?
I thought, holy crap! But that was pretty good. And I think another one of the matches that was of note was Brody Lee against Marco.
Yeah.
And that was everything I expected it was going to be. But I just the size difference I thought was very, very interesting.
Yeah, it's going to be fun to see if they keep doing Marco with these big guys. I suppose you've never seen Marco stunt live in person. I mean, he really is short. Like, I'm short. Like, you know me, I'm short. All sense, I'm short. Like, everybody's taller than me.
He's shorter than you.
He's like half my height, man. Like, he made me feel tall when I was next to him on the cruise, so it was really nice. Yeah, he is really short, and he's going to get like Brody Lee's what, like 6 foot?
Oh, he's bigger than that.
Is he bigger than that?
He's at least 6'5".
Yeah, so I mean, it's it's fun to see what he can do.
Yeah. And again, that was just the matches that I recalled. You'll have to run through anything else.
Well, then we had Kip Sabian and Jimmy Havoc versus Best Friends.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good match. Those are all good people to watch. I like that. So, Sean Spears against a jobber.
I didn't understand why they had to have Sean Spears in doing anything. He's not involved in anything right now. But other than the fact that he was,
I think are they still looking for a tag partner for Sean Spears? Is that still the going?
Probably.
Too, because these guys, like he's paired up with Tully Blanchard, Cody's with Arn Anderson, Lance Archer's with Jake. None of these old timers are making the trip right now because they're being age wise. They're all,
they're undercover.
They're at risk.
Yeah,
being out, so they're not trying. Same why JR's not going. So it's kind of funny, like we're not getting that to help further, like with Tully Blanchard, like scouting these guys out and bringing them down for his new tag partner. We're not getting that right now. So, they're just kind of, I don't know, probably doing matches. I assume that's going. I don't know though. I don't know if they're going to bring back some of these guys who are at risk right away, even knowing that in a few weeks, even possibly next week, we're going to just possibly see some fans in the shows.
Well, yeah, I mean, aside from Florida, I think they said that with Georgia opening up, they're going to be able to go and do more stuff.
Yeah,
they're still going to have the restrictions that they've got to follow, but I think it's going to be easier to get more people. And you know what? They're not doing that show live, are they? The Dynamite show? I don't think it's live.
No, they're taping right now.
So if they've now got 2 spots, if they can film in Jacksonville and they can film in Georgia, now they got 2 spots. Now maybe they can have double the talent and have some of those things happen again.
I would hope so, because right now it feels like the talent's limited because we're not seeing a lot of people. So
right.
Hopefully. Wardlow did have another match with another jobber, just making him look good. We had the MJF stuff. He hurt his hand. He had the hangnail from gambling. Now it is he nicked himself while shaving, which made him have a neck brace on.
Yeah.
For MJF. Can't catch a break, that poor guy.
I know he's having a hard time.
So
getting back into the swing of things.
Yeah, so we'll see when he gets back. We had Darby Allin and Cody. That was the match. Another good match. And another bubbly gang, bubbly bunch.
Now,
with the inner circle.
The Manitoba Melee. My God, dude. I will say this. That was one of the funniest things I've seen in a long time out of anybody. And there were a lot of celebrity cameos in that. And there's one fellow that I know, a comedian that I know from Indianapolis named Ryan Patrick, who was in it. And
after Brad Williams?
He was before Brad Williams.
Oh, he was okay.
Yeah.
I had seen that was a comic and I didn't know who he was.
Yeah.
That one I couldn't figure out. It took a minute for me to realize it was Lou Ferrigno, and it was actually, I only realized it at the end when Jericho was like, "Was that Lou Ferrigno?" And
I knew it was Lou. I knew it was Lou Ferrigno right away because I was raised on Incredible Hulk.
And then it took me a minute to he just didn't. He was, I don't know if he was too close or what. It looked like him, but I wasn't sure. And then the guy with the girls at the pool, it took me a second. Like, I saw it and I was like, right away, I was like, it kind of looked like the fat annoying guy from Tiger King, but
oh yeah,
he wouldn't be in, and it was
the
guy from the Tiger King. And I was like, oh, gross.
But that was just fantastic. And so now that makes me wonder if Ryan Patrick is going to be on the cruise.
Yeah, it could be. I don't know.
I mean, because that'd be very cool. Somebody that I know and I've shared the stage with is going to have. He was actually he was one of the finalists, I believe, in the America's Got Talent last year.
Oh, okay.
And so he's been a comic for a long time, and that really kind of popped him up and got him a lot, really, really noticed, and got him a lot of work.
Nice.
And for some, that's how it is. The bookers is like, oh, well, we don't like how he looks, so we're not going to book him. Well, you know what? America loved the kid, and guess what? Now you got to book him.
Right. One other thing worth noting from Dynamite, just AEW in general going forward these last few weeks, is a very big lack of the women's division.
Yeah.
And actual matches is what I'm talking about, too, just to be clear. I know we got like the Britt Baker stuff, but I don't think we've had a women's match on Dynamite in 2 weeks.
I wonder how many of the women are not there.
And that's what I'm wondering,
I mean, Penelope Ford, we know is there. Britt Baker, we know is there.
But you can't even, you got all those girls that are standing ringside. None of them are jobber girls. For one of them.
Well, that's it. It's just like
a women's match.
Yeah, I know. It's just like when Jericho, and here's another thing, and this is I'll just mention this. I don't know how they come back and don't have Jericho doing commentary. He is so good. He makes these shows right now just with his commentary. And, I mean, when you compare the commentary on Dynamite to Raw or SmackDown, there is no comparison.
No, like, I noticed that on Monday Night Raw because I was like, I'm super happy that Samoa Joe's back on commentary. They took King off because King he was serving his purpose, but he hasn't changed with the times. So what he was doing is what he was doing back in the 90s. It wasn't as funny anymore. Half of the time, he just seemed confused too. Like he felt like he couldn't keep up with what the problem.
He doesn't know who's who.
Right. So like that wasn't working. Right now with Samoa Joe, I like it. But I don't know if you noticed this. Samoa Joe is very pro-con. So, like, he doesn't play just the heel role commentary guy like King would be doing.
Yeah.
He'll say good things about the heel. He'll say good things about the face. He'll say bad things about both of them. He's very neutral.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like he takes a lot of sides. And then you have Byron Saxton, who's just, as face as could be. So it's just, it comes off weird. So then when you go to Dynamite and you have Schiavone and Jericho, it works because Tony is the straight guy. He's doing his job. He's calling the shots. He's playing it straight. And then you just got that heel guy who's just
it's the perfect.
You know what it is? It's almost like McMahon, Jerry the King before JR came.
Yeah. Or Gorilla Monsoon and Heenan,
for sure.
Or I mean, it's that perfect, or Monsoon and Ventura.
Mm-hmm.
It's that perfect mix because you got Schiavone as the ultimate professional announcer, and then you got Jericho as the loose cannon heel, and it just works so well, and it's a great formula.
Yeah, because for me too, I feel a good 2-man booth is more effective than the 3-man booth because your straight guy who's calling play-by-play by nature is the face. He's always, because he's calling it down the line. He's calling what he sees. He calls it right, which means he's going to take side of the baby face. So when those things happen, like, well, wait, he just cheated to win. And then that heel commentary is like, it's better with that 2-man group that then he can chime in who's doing the play. But well, no, instead of a third voice now hopping in. And then you have that one guy where he has to just sit here and basically wait for them to stop and then go back to calling action, going back to cutting the break, coming back from the break. It's just smoother. And it's just, you're more into it when it's that 2-man booth and it's done right. Like you said, like Bobby Heenan and Gorilla Monsoon.
Yeah.
Was mine for growing up, and then King and McMahon, and then Jerry and JR, like you mentioned Ventura too. I do remember watching those, and it's just it works right now, and that's something that I don't think WCW ever really did. It always just seemed like too many heads in the booth, and then they were just throwing people together. And
well, I will say this: when Schiavone was at WCW. They typically ran a 2-man, and when it started really getting funky was when the NWO came into prominence.
Yeah, and I guess that's more of when I feel like they became a threat to WWE, so I kind of compare it then. But no, it's going great. It'll be interesting to see what they do though, because how you also have Taz and JR that both have contracts. You can't not use them. You can't definitely JR. I mean,
and you certainly don't want to not use them. I think they both bring a lot of expertise and talent to the table. What they're doing with Taz right now with these kind of breakdowns, I think it's fantastic.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. It's cool to see that they're keeping people busy who can't physically be there. So yeah, I agree. They have the setup for if they ever go with another second TV show on TNT or TBS or something like that. They have it because then you can have your 2 teams. You can have Jericho and Schiavone do one show and then have maybe Taz and JR do the other show because they'll work fine together.
Yeah.
And Taz can play that heel role if you need him to.
Mm-hmm.
Excalibur, sorry, do dark.
Well, let's be honest. When they first started,
and he's good. Don't get me wrong, he is good.
Yeah, I think they'll probably keep him. But when he first started, he was the only one that knew anything about what the hell was going on.
This is true.
You know,
also had Alex guy.
Yeah. Oh, Alex Marvez, who seems to be a very nice guy, but just, and he probably knew everything you need to know. He just didn't have the ability to pull it off.
Well, as I understand it, he came from print media, like he was a blogger or a news right.
He was on Sirius XM doing, I believe he was doing football, and I believe he was doing stuff for Jacksonville Jaguars as well.
Oh, really? Huh. Yeah. Then maybe he just doesn't know wrestling that well, and that's why it just didn't translate.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. He's doing stuff online, I think, with them, and it's not bad. I don't know. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do with their announced team going forward.
Yeah.
And then so we're a few weeks out from Double or Nothing. Not a lot's been said about it other than it's happening. The only match is, do we even have a match for that yet? I don't think
we do. Other than the
championship of the tournament.
The championship. And you know what? Maybe that's the whole thing.
No. Although it's pay-per-view. They're selling it. It's got to be an actual show. I ain't paying $50 for that. Man.
Well, no, I don't think anybody is, but I haven't looked at Fight. I don't know if it's even up for sale yet.
I don't know if it is or not, but it is advertised as it's going to be a pay-per-view. So my guess, and plus they got to do it. You can't not do it when WWE is still running pay-per-view.
Yeah, I would agree.
You just can't. So, which we'll get into that because we got a big pay-per-view coming up on Sunday. Did you have anything else you want to touch on as far as AEW world before we?
No, I will say this. I think since the quarantine, I think AEW has proven that they're a more interesting program to watch than WWE at this point. I believe that they've taken what's given to them and done more with it than WWE has.
Yeah, I definitely think that not only did they like do well with this compared, for what it was being the times in the world today. They definitely put on a better show than what WWE was doing during a very crucial time in WWE because it all came around Mania.
Yeah.
That's the biggest show of the year for WWE. So for them to be having these issues, dealing with this virus stuff, dealing with an audience number that's going smaller every week, and now you have these guys who were competing with you that you never were like, yeah, they're there, whatever. And they just happen to really figure out how to still make an entertaining show through this compared to what WWE was putting out, including their really big pay-per-view WrestleMania. So
yeah,
it's going to be, AEW's got going anywhere. In fact, they got renewed. I think they have 3 or 5 more years now on TNT.
Yeah. It's clearly it's a product that people are enjoying.
Yeah, it's not going anywhere. And it's so fun live. I know you haven't been to one yet, and I've never been to a Dynamite or one of their pay-per-views, but I've seen that, I was at the AEW. I guess technically I was at Dynamite because that was a Dynamite episode on the boat. But seeing that group of people together live, it is a really fun show. So you'll get to see it when we go on the cruise, hopefully in February, baby.
Come on, babies.
Sometime we're going. That's all that matters.
That's right.
That's happening. So yeah, that'll be fun. Let's get into WWE though, because there's a lot of stuff going on there too. Money in the Bank is happening this Sunday.
Money on the Roof.
Money on the Roof. Someone's gonna die, y'all. We're gonna watch someone get murdered Sunday night because according to Aleister Black, he'll throw anybody off the top of that roof.
Well, AJ Styles is willing to throw somebody off too.
That's who said it. Which, by the way, we'll get to that. But yeah, AJ Styles,
that's a whole nother thing.
Apparently. So yeah, Money in the Bank. So again, in case you don't know or you're watching and you're not a wrestling fan. It's a big match that they do, a bunch of people, and there's a big briefcase hanging over the ring. You climb the ladder, you get the briefcase, you get to have a title shot whenever you want. The twist is this year it's happening at the WWE corporate headquarter building in Stamford, Connecticut,
which they're gonna move away from, by the way.
Yeah, in about 6 months to a year, they will not be in that building anymore. So all the more reason to do what they're going to be doing, and that is they're doing the Money in the Bank matches in that building. The people will start on the main floor of the building. They have to go all the way to the roof where the ring will be and the hanging briefcase. So, and now it sounds like they might even have I read something about booby traps in the building.
So there's a lot of stuff been leaked. For the first part of it is, and this has not been leaked. They've announced this. The men's and women's matches are going to be going on at the same time.
I knew that would happen. I had a feeling last week that was
now to me that's okay. I mean, it's a bit weird, but I think I can handle it. The other part of it is that it's all going to be already done. It's not going to be live. It's going to be recorded, just like Mania was.
So it's going to be very cinematic,
like the Boneyard
and the Firefly Funhouse match.
Yep. And so we know that. One of the other things that was kind of intimated was that Vince himself is going to be involved in something in some way, shape, or form.
Oh yeah, he'll be in his office or some shit when they bust it, and he'll be like, "Get out of here."
Did you see where they said he was demonstrating how to fall off of something?
What do you mean?
Like he took as they were rehearsing, he demonstrated how to take a fall, like a big ass fall, like.
I'll tell you what, things like that don't ever tend to surprise me, no matter how old he gets, because
he doesn't care.
Well, that and the one thing you've always heard about him, you've heard good things and a lot of bad things about him as a boss. But the one thing you've always heard about him as a boss is he would never ask someone to do something he himself wouldn't do.
Correct.
So I get that. It is a little alarming for how old he is.
Yeah, he's what, 74?
Yeah. You know what though? The guy's going crazy. He's got just tons of actual heat coming at him.
Yeah.
He's dealing with a lot that he's probably like, man, I just need to do something. So, all right, whatever. Maybe maybe that means he'll be in the match.
Jeez, you know what? He could win the Money in the Bank match.
Oh my God. I mean, to be honest, if he did that, if he wants ratings to go up, it wouldn't be a bad call.
It would
doing it now for that, just to be like, wait a minute, he won? I thought he was dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. That's yeah. So it's going to be interesting. So my other question then is, if that's recorded, will they do the regular matches for this pay-per-view then at the Performance Center?
I would assume.
Or are they going to do them on the roof in the ring and the mat on the roof?
No, I don't think they'll do that. I think they'll. I think they'll. And to be honest, I almost feel like the matches on the roof, all the stuff that happens on the roof, will probably be virtual, because you know how they do with virtual with all the.
Yeah, but that virtual shit they do during entrances looks so cheesy that I just.
Yeah, it does. But you know what? You can do it better.
But I mean, I just feel like for how much shit they've gone through lately. Because here's my other thing: is if AEW does Double or Nothing and they give us a real 3-hour wrestling pay-per-view, it's matches and they're telling the stories, that is going to surpass any of the cinemagic shit that's going on.
Yeah,
WWE's doing, and the reason I say that is yes, and I know a lot of people love the Boneyard match and love the Firefly Funhouse match, and they were fun to watch for what they were. But at the end of the day, that wasn't a wrestling match.
Right?
We're wrestling fans. What we're watching is wrestling. So at the end of the day, if I'm getting these cinematic, awesome shot matches that have these like real movie vibes to them, at a certain point, I'm going to be like. I just want to watch guys in the ring. That's what I grew up watching. That's what I know this is. So they got to be careful they do it, because I think if they keep doing it, it will hurt, because eventually people are going to be like, I want to watch wrestling. If this that Lucha Underground was perfect. They shot their behind the scenes stuff, the backstage stuff. They shot all that cinematic. It made it look real TV like.
Yeah.
Not just live action, but the matches were the match, you know?
Yeah.
And I just don't want to see WWE, because I think that's what happened. Is after Mania, WWE was like, oh, wait, we could do this and people are going to love it. And the talent's got to be worried, because having to like set up and do these spots like stunt work and stuff isn't what they signed up for. They want to put on a match. And then B, it's probably less time. And I don't know. It's just, they got to be careful. And I feel like WWE is going to really go to town with it. They're going to like doing more.
I'm like you. I think they might go too far.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, let's be honest. We know that we're going to get some matches at the Hardy compound. We know that. And that's going to be fine, because he's the originator.
Right. And that's
but it's also not going to be the entire this is it.
It'll be one match, and then we'll see Hardy come back to the ring. Maybe they'll go back to the compound for something else. Cool.
Yeah.
But even that, they didn't really lose the wrestling vibe, because it's still even cinematically shot. The compound stuff still started in a ring and had a wrestling match to it.
Right.
So I just feel like WWE's got to be real careful here, because I know already, I'm like, it's going to be fun to watch what they do at Money in the Bank, but at the end of the day, it's like, I still would rather just watch the actual Money in the Bank match.
Yeah.
I'm more impressed by seeing the actual crazy shit these guys are doing in the ring than the stuff that they're filming with a film crew that's being staged.
I agree.
Anyways, SmackDown happened Friday. It opened up with Daniel Bryan. He did some talking, whatever. King Corbin versus Daniel Bryan. I feel bad for Daniel Bryan these times, because he is a huge name. He's a former champion during the year of WrestleMania 30, which was like 12, 13, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, that was his year.
Yeah.
And it took a really bad turn after that, but that was his year. And I mean, he did some things that no other wrestlers have done. You just got to feel bad that it's like, man, I feel like he's not being used to the extent he could be used. I also feel like maybe we're seeing, I don't know. And this is another thing. Are we not seeing certain people on SmackDown? Like, our WWE talent not working right now? Because I feel like we're not seeing a lot of depth to either roster right now in WWE. And I can't imagine it's people being like, I don't want to come because I'm at risk or anything like that, because we already seen what happened with Roman Reigns when he refused to do Mania at risk, and now they're blackballing him and removing him from everything, which it's like, are you serious?
It's crazy to me, because, you know, I just don't understand, you know, because it seems to me like Vince and his team are kind of knee jerking on some of this stuff, you know, whereas you decide you're going to take Roman off everything. That's the wrong thing to do. If it was me, if I was the guy doing it, I would say Roman is home, and he's home because we want him to be back and we want him to stay healthy.
It's so
we care about people.
Last year, they're like, "Oh my God, he's fighting leukemia. We love him. We wish you nothing but the best." And then he's like, "Hey, I just got done fighting leukemia. I can't be coming out with this virus flying around." What? You're fired, kind of.
Yeah,
you're gonna erase you from everything.
I think this is another one of the things that illustrates that Vince is more concerned about the almighty dollar than he is about everything. Hey, I'm looking at the chat, dummy. Thanks for looking in, Nicholas. Good to see you, buddy. But yeah, I mean, it just means that he's looking more and more at the dollar than he is about anything else. Okay, run down a list of stuff there.
So yeah, Daniel Bryan, King Corbin, winner by DQ was Daniel Bryan. Corbin hits End of Days, and then Shinsuke comes out. They all do some stuff in there. Braun Strowman comes out, recaps last week's trip down memory lane at the Firefly Funhouse. I do enjoy the stuff between Braun and the Fiend. That does have me kind of excited for that match at Money in the Bank. Then we get Sheamus versus Leon Ruff. Sheamus with the win, of course. Next week, Jeff Hardy will be live on SmackDown. And
I still love the fact that Sheamus is doing exactly what he needs to do as a heel, and it's really a beautiful thing to see, particularly when he doesn't have an audience to play off of. Right. That's the way to do it.
Yep, and he says he'll be there next week, so kind of feels like we're going to see some Jeff Hardy Sheamus action. I'm all for that. We get an Otis and Mandy Rose interview backstage. And then we get Mandy Rose versus Carmella Money in the qualifying match. I haven't seen Carmella for a while. Nice to see her. Another weird thing WWE has done during this period of this COVID, lockdown, I guess you could call it, is they also have not acknowledged any of the people who tested positive for the virus that work for WWE.
Yeah.
One of them being Carmella. She had it and now since beaten it, but WWE is not mentioning a single word about that. Again, it's so weird how Vince McMahon is almost like taking this COVID virus personal. Like it's attacking him personally, and he's like, I'm gonna give you the old drug drop, brother, or I don't know. You know what I mean? Though, like that's what I want. If they want to get like viewers and really get people going back on WWE, just let Vince cut a promo on the COVID virus. Because it would get so real. It would get so real because he really feels like this is personal. So like, let's do it.
He can become the hydrochloroquinator.
They might as well just get a stupid outfit and have someone pretend to be the COVID virus and he wrestles it.
Well, he doesn't want to mention it.
I mean,
it makes people sad.
Right, but if they do that, like that would be how he would mention it.
Yeah.
All right, we'll do it, but I'm gonna pin it in the ring, just like we wrestled Shawn Michaels and God. Like what the hell? It's ridiculous. But
oh man,
I still love it. Anyways, Carmella gets the win. I'm assuming Sonya Deville comes out. Yep, cut a promo at top of the ramp and gets involved with that, leading to I believe this next week. Right, we're getting Sonya Deville versus Mandy Rose.
It's a mixed tag, isn't it?
Oh, I thought it was 1-on-1. Maybe it is mixed tag. We got the New Day versus the Forgotten Sons. The Forgotten Sons with the win. Why?
So that they can have a 4-way for the tag belts.
Yeah, so dumb.
I heard today that the sole reason that the Forgotten Sons are there is because I don't know whether it was Jay or Jimmy Uso. One of them got hurt.
Yeah, Jimmy's out for 6 months.
Yeah, so that's the sole reason that they're back, because they're a team and they can be there.
But it just makes no sense because the OC was a team. You could have just kept them and got rid of the Forgotten.
Yeah, but then think again about Mr. Money. How much do I can get these 3 guys for $4?
Okay, fine.
Or I can get those 2 guys for 80,000.
Well, then this one
pay the 3 guys for 4, because then if one of them gets sick, I got 2. I still got 2.
Well, then you could have just kept Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins, because those guys couldn't have been getting paid much. And then if you want to go one step further, we could have just kept Fandango.
Look.
I mean, I'm just saying, the Forgotten Sons are not a team that should still be working in WWE with all the people that got cut.
Yeah, I agree 100% with you.
That's just my point. Anyways, we get an interview with Tamina about her match against Bayley. I'm excited, but like we said on our last show, it's just Tamina's past that point. I mean, I'm excited for her, and if they actually gave her a title, awesome. But I mean, she's a veteran now.
Yeah.
She shouldn't be getting these big shots, especially when, again, there's so much talent on that NXT roster in their women's division, and some of them have been ready to get moved up for a while. And it hasn't happened. So, we now get Otis versus Dolph Ziggler in a Money in the Bank qualifying match. Otis with the win. So we're going to get some Otis action. Does that mean we'll see Mandy Rose maybe try to give an assist during the Money in the Bank match?
I don't know. Maybe
his peach.
He did get a kiss on the cheek, by the way, in that backstage interview, and he is one of the best talents they have right now in terms of just pure comedy, and he does such a good job of not hamming it up, if you know what I mean. It's like he is in that character, and he doesn't break that character for nothing, and it's just so good. Because I got to think that if you were to sit down and talk with that guy, he's not that much of a goon.
No,
I mean, he was a college wrestler. He was in the Pan Am Games, and I think gold medal winner in the Pan Am Games. It's not like he's a stupid moron like he plays,
right?
But it's so good.
Yeah, I don't know if you've read. There's been she did some interviews this last week. I don't remember with who, but it was apparently her idea. She's the one that was pitching for her and Otis to be paired together.
Oh, no kidding.
I guess they've been friends forever. Like when they both came to NXT at the same time.
Oh, very cool.
He kind of would always kind of joke with her then that they became really close. So like, yeah, I guess she was the one that was kind of pitching that these two, like, it happened with the social media, but then like when it started taking steam, I guess she was the one that was like, we should do this.
Very cool.
Weird. But yeah, so that was cool. So let's go to Raw. Why are we starting with MVP every week?
Because I think they're trying to. They don't have any reason for anybody else to get up there and make a speech. And I think he is. I mean, I don't know. I feel like he's serving a purpose, and that purpose is to facilitate confrontations that wouldn't necessarily happen otherwise.
Yeah, I guess you're right. And I mean, they are missing talent right now, which it sounds like next week a lot of that's coming back.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we start with MVP for the second week in a row doing the MVP Lounge. This week we get the women's Raw competitors for the Money in the Bank match. Asuka,
Shayna,
and Nia Jax.
The career killer.
I'll tell you what, though, I enjoyed her getting kicked over that table. That was kind of funny.
You know what? It's really funny, and this goes to the fact that one of the reasons why WWE is not doing as good a job as AEW is. They had those girls come down to their full, complete intros.
Mm-hmm.
That's just too freaking long, you know. I mean,
well, they got a ramp now. It's not as long. It's not the arena.
But the whole thing is, it's like, okay, we get it. You know, but I did like the fact that Shayna and Asuka are kind of, I mean, you know, it's not going to last, but now it's like, who's the bad guy? You know, out of the three of them, is there one that's going to be that one? I mean, I'm still a huge Asuka fan, and I love her screaming and being Asuka. And then I go back and watch her YouTube, and it's like, oh, I'm doing origami today.
I like how they told her, like, hey, just keep saying VIP. That's all you got to do. At the end of whatever you're going to say, just say VIP. That's all you
oh my gosh. But
it was what it was. It led to the little, them kicking Nia Jax over and out of the ring. Those two squaring up. Some excitement for the match. Again, I don't even know what to expect. Whatever. What I was happy to hear is not happy that Apollo Crews is out.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that they brought the gauntlet match in to get that replacement. I'm always up for a good gauntlet match. Just makes me happy.
Gauntlet match is good, but I mean,
it wasn't the right people.
Good God.
It wasn't the right people. It could
but
have
it's
been
the people they had on hand.
It is. Yeah, exactly. Again, I like the gauntlet match. You made Bobby Lashley look pretty tough. He beats Titus O'Neil, Akira Tozawa, Shelton Benjamin, which I wish they would have let Benjamin do more, especially being he's got such classic moments from Money in the Bank matches from previous. So, Then we had then we have Humberto Carrillo defeat Lashley by DQ because he shoved the ref.
That's just
they weren't going to have him win. That's all that was.
Yeah.
And then it was an excuse to get because they didn't want, because he's a heel, whatever. So we can't have him go against Zelina's stable because they're all heels.
Yeah.
So you got Humberto come out, he gets the win. Then he goes against Angel Garza and Austin Theory. And then the big surprise is that AJ Styles music hits and he's alive.
Yeah.
The funniest part of that whole thing is when it was all said and done, he gets on the mic and he's like, "I'm not a ghost." It's like, no shit. You just wrestled. No shit, you're not a ghost.
I'm not.
This whole time, are you real? I thought you were a ghost. I thought you were just floating around the ring.
I'm not a ghost.
It was weird though. I thought it was a little weird that he made so much mention to the Undertaker, like deliberately saying like, "There's no Undertaker to steal my moment now."
Well, maybe the Undertaker will. He did that before, and it was. I mean, it was like when he started calling the Undertaker out and making those comments before, you could see it coming down Main Street. And when he came in and he spoiled something for him, didn't he? Undertaker spoiled something for him. I would not be surprised if we don't get an appearance by the Undertaker in this cinematic Money on the Roof match.
Yeah, I thought so too, because I figured like it's a good way to have him hiding, or I feel like we might see the old memorabilia from WWE history, like they might bring stuff in there. Again, I don't think the actual WWE warehouse is on the same location. It might be within blocks though. But if it's not where they can just go there, I feel like we might still see them bring some some just past props into the building.
Oh, man, I'd love to see the gobbledygook.
You sneak in like the first casket he made for like Kamala, and it's just in there, and then it just happens to be he's in it or something. You know what I mean? Like, it would make for a good little surprise. And I feel like you need to do that if you're going to do this cinematic Money in the Bank match. So so AJ Styles, he's going to be in Money in the Bank, and he's going to throw everybody off the roof and kill them all just so he has a shot at the title.
Hey, he was buried alive. He knows what it's like,
right? He came back from death. He can murder somebody. Doesn't matter. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, says he's not a ghost or a zombie. No Undertaker, steal my spotlight. Then we had Seth Rollins
talking.
Yeah, I vacuumed in my living room during that. I have no interest. Like, I just cannot get behind this. Like, I'm just done. Again, it just feels too much like previous used gimmicks all wrapped in one, and he already comes off kind of like a dickhead, kind of like he thinks his shit don't stink and he's better than you. Even when he's a face, he kind of comes off like that. And I'm not saying he's like that. I've never met the man. I've heard very good things about him from people who have worked with him. So not saying that, but that's just what it seems like. So now that he's actually now what he's doing with the whole Monday Night Messiah, he just comes off kind of like a whiny bitch. And I'm just like, yeah.
I will say this. I got a friend that lives down in Davenport, comedian. And he popped up here just either right before or right as this all was happening. Seth, under his real name, was down there helping raise money for, I think it's his cousin's, has a restaurant, and they donated all the money to a pet rescue down there. So I know he's a good guy.
Oh yeah. I think he has his own wrestling school in Davenport. My friends from IPW, Impact Pro Wrestling, I know back in the day, he's gone through and done seminars over there with them and helped do some lessons. So I mean, yeah, awesome guy. But just again, I've said this a few weeks back. He's a guy that at this point he could go away for like 6 months on vacation, come back, and it would do him a favor, because I think he needs to just be gone for a little while so people can kind of forget about him, so then he can come back and all right, I remember now. Yeah, cool. But
be appreciated.
Yeah. Right now it's just no. We then get Ricochet, Cedric Alexander Brendan Vink, Shane Thorne really shining to show off this new Ricochet Cedric Alexander team. Ricochet super kicks thrown out of the ring, but Vink is able to hit a big boot onto Ricochet and gets the win. So I guess they're gonna maybe do something with those guys. I don't know. Like, really, when did Brendan Vink and Shane Thorne become main roster? I guess I missed that.
No.
Then we move to the Street Profits versus the Viking Raiders. Viking Raiders getting that win, which obviously this is going to lead to a title match between the two. I kind of feel like Street Profits will come out on top on that one.
Yeah, I do too, and it's weird because, when the Viking Raiders came in, they painted them as such crushers.
Yeah, but the Street Profits sells more merch.
Oh, hell yeah!
So they're gonna get the win.
Who doesn't want a Chalice versus a headset or headgear or hell, I don't know.
Yeah,
bring the smoke. That's all I can tell you.
Right. And then our final, okay, so I'm going to skip over what the next match was. Our final main event match was Drew McIntyre versus Buddy Murphy, but we don't call him Buddy no more. Just Murphy.
Just wait till I start calling him Murph.
Right. He just comes out against his opponent, M. Drew McIntyre gets the win. Murphy goes after him afterwards. He ends up beating him up. Looks like Rollins is going to get in the ring because he's out there watching all the time. Doesn't do it. We end again. Go McIntyre. I don't care anymore about Rollins. And the reason I skipped the match before this is because I just feel like we're going to talk about this one more than that main event match. And that was the Charlotte Flair versus Liv Morgan match. Flair wins with the figure 8, but by far the best technical showing Liv Morgan has had on Monday Night Raw. And also probably the match that's going to push her out into moving up the ranks in the women's division. She really proved her worth and what she can do in this match. A phenomenal match.
Well, she clearly thrives and has thrived in this situation. When there are only a handful of people that the WWE can use, she is by far one that can do whatever they ask her to. And we've been talking about it for weeks, maybe months. The effort that she puts in is absolutely, I mean, she makes it look like she is doing everything at 1,000% speed. And it's fantastic. And I just really like the fact that they seem to be putting her in a spot, because for her to lose to Charlotte was not a bad thing.
Mm-mm. No, and they even have, I mean, they didn't shake hands or anything, but Charlotte didn't look at her after the match kind of like, haha, easy work. Yeah. Known that it was, okay, that wasn't as easy as I thought this was going to be. And again, it was just a solid showing. One that it makes you wonder why Liv Morgan isn't in Money in the Bank.
No.
Whatever, but I would say by November in Survivor Series, if she hasn't gotten in the title picture yet, they once again have dropped the ball with Liv Morgan. The only thing I could say about her watching that match that I was like, and I know she's a shorter person as far as in the ring compared to a lot of the other girls. I feel like she's a touch slow. Some of the movement when she's doing her runs and stuff, I wish she could step that up just a little bit. Sometimes it's a little too slow that it's like, that just looks like it wouldn't even do anything. And the whole point is to make this believable. So, but I mean, and that's only a few little spots in the match. I mean, overall, she's killing it, and she's only going to get better, especially with the quality of the people she's working with now on the main roster. So, yeah man. I really hope something happens with that. So as far as for Money in the Bank, we've got obviously the Money in the Bank match with all the people involved apparently at the same damn time. That's going to be the interesting thing too. Are we going to see any interaction between the men's and women's division then?
It's possible. Don't you think?
Oh, I mean, it's very possible, but like, do you think we'll see it? And if so, what do you think they'll do? Like, so here, I guess here's the thing: you don't really see WWE ever do anything where, I mean, they every once in a while they would do it. I mean, we've seen what the Fabulous Moolah and Mae Young get thrown.
But that was a different era,
and that was a different era. So WWE now is not really into doing that stuff, you know, where they would used to put Trish and Lita through chairs as ballets or tables.
Here's what I could say: I could see the women, and I'd have to look at that list again. I could see the women getting involved in screwing up like a man that's you know, one of their cohorts. There are some of them in there that are like for example, Sonya Deville. Yeah,
is she? Yeah, I think you got Sonya. I think what is it? Sonya Deville, Lacey Evans, Dana Brooke, maybe, or Naomi.
No, I think it was Dana Brooke.
And then you have Tamina, or no, not Tamina. You have Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler, and Asuka.
Yeah. So for example, I could see Sonya Deville doing something to Otis.
Yeah.
I could see. I'm just right, but it's if it happens, it's going to be a woman against a man, and the man is not going to really. I mean, because WWE won't do that. There won't be any kind of retaliation. If you know what I'm saying, it's like.
Well, and that's why I asked, because you look at AEW. You hear me, right?
Yeah.
All right. I think my headphones are just going crazy. You look at AEW, and I mean, huh?
You got a little buzz.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay. You go to AEW, and you got like Brandy taking a bump from somebody.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Brandy and a lot of the women in AEW are getting involved.
Yeah,
and
they've taken that next step to where they've done intergender matches and put it on Dark. It was on the boat. I saw it. I was there in person. Will we see WWE ever do that? I don't know.
No.
That's a long shot.
No.
Maybe once Vince is dead.
Maybe.
You know.
Maybe. I don't know. I think it's hard to try to figure out who's going to win that Money in the Bank. Either of them. Just because. Who knows what the hell they're thinking at this point? I guess maybe that's kind of a good thing, because it's too hard to predict.
Yeah, I think, I don't know. I think AJ's going to win.
Do you?
For that, I just think so. It's either going to be him or Daniel Bryan, and then I think out of the women's, I don't know, Nia.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. Which it's a shame. I would really rather not see her.
Well, because she's going to go after Becky.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, the good news is, I guess there's history there, but
yeah. Well, and that's just it. There is, and I don't think we ever got closure to that.
No.
So they'll bring that back, and maybe, I mean, it'll do both of them some good. Plus, for how rough she is, I feel like Becky can handle it.
Yeah.
Obviously. So. Yeah, I would say that. Then we have the Fiend versus Braun Strowman.
I think the Fiend gets a title back.
I think so as well. Obviously, McIntyre, Seth Rollins, McIntyre wins. They're not going to drop it off him until he will have at least one match with fans there.
Yeah,
so he has his moment. And I don't know of any other matches. I don't know if there's tag matches or not.
Yeah, there's the 4-way for the SmackDown. You got Miz and Morrison. You got New Day. You got Forgotten Sons, and is it Lucha House Party?
Yeah, probably. Probably.
And I just listed every tag team that's now currently working on SmackDown. So there's a 4-way for that.
How is there no women's tag match?
There might be, and I don't know it yet. I mean, we still have
Friday. Yeah,
we still have Friday.
So and I could add stuff.
Yeah,
especially if I think they are advertising it. Money in the Bank is live, even though the Money in the Bank match will be recorded. I think they are still advertising it's live. So I mean, Performance Center matches then will probably be live. So they can probably add something they have on the pre-show if they wanted. Anyways, so that's going to wrap up this week's stuff. Let's get into, we haven't done these in a while. Well, we did it a couple weeks ago, but you and I haven't done it where we actually got real into it. So we'll take a little time now. Do you have the intro up, or do you want to just go into it?
Oh, for which one?
Or did you not watch it? Were we not doing All In?
Oh, Jesus God, I totally forgot.
All right, we'll do it next time.
Oh my God, dude, I totally forgot we were going to do that.
It's all right. It's all right. We're already at over an hour. I mean, that will take up another at least 20 minutes. So
I want to play the intro though, because I like the intro.
Okay. That's right. The old school review is kind of back.
You gotta remember to watch it.
on what was going to be this week's episode, we were going to talk about the infamous All In that went down September 1st, 2018. I'll tell you what, here's what we'll do though. We'll give the backstory and then maybe just a quick memory of that event. And then next week we can get into it. So obviously everybody knows what All In was, independent professional wrestling pay-per-view. So so how it all kind of really came about is in May 2017, a fan asked Wrestling Observer newsletter journalist David Metzler on the Metzler Report on Twitter if Ring of Honor could sell 10,000 tickets, and Metzler responded, "Not anytime soon." Now, again, you got to keep in mind this is in the heyday of this version of Bullet Club, which is the Elite now. Cody Rhodes, Kenny Omega, Marty Scurll, the Young Bucks, Hangman Page. Other key players were like Flip Gordon. What was his Coda? Is it Ibushi from the Golden Lovers? He was in a lot of that stuff. Anyways, yeah. So these guys were the Bullet Club, and it was probably the height of the Bullet Club, I'd say. And I mean, it went through different phases with AJ, with Finn Balor at the time, Fergal Devitt, Prince Devitt, Adam Cole being a part of it, all this stuff. But this was where, I mean, and it really, I think, had to go to the Young Bucks and what they were doing with the Elite on their at the time flog. So anyways, it was just the heyday, and ROH had these guys, New Japan had these guys working. And I mean, this was probably ROH's best time.
Oh, yeah.
By far. They were just firing on all cylinders. They have yet to get back to that.
Well, because let's be honest, all their top talent left.
Yeah, all their top talent was basically that stable. They also made that mistake of pushing Matt Tavern as their champ after all that went down instead of like a Dalton Castle. So, anyways, so Dave Metzler's like, not anytime soon. And Cody Rhodes then said, "I'll take that bet, Dave." And eventually the idea came around from ROH to do a self-funded event with ROH sanctioning it. Promoted by Cody and the Young Bucks, and then it was later announced Kenny Omega, Brandy Rhodes, and actor Stephen Amell would participate, and that was like kind of the beginning of where it was going to go, that it was going to happen. And then it was said Chicago was the place, Sears Center exact, the date again September, and then just the names started coming out. Penta, El Zero, Rey Fenix, which the Lucha Brothers favorite, Rey Fenix, Kazuchika Okada, Deonna Purrazzo, Tessa Blanchard, Jay Lethal, Chelsea Green, Marty Scurll, Hangman Page, Conrad Thompson did Starcast, the first Starcast at this, which had basically a WrestleCon vibe, bunch of people. SCU, you had Colt Cabana, MJF, Madison Reigns, Kota Ibushi, the Briscoe brothers, you had Best Friends, Jay Lethal, Excalibur, Ian Riccaboni, Justin Roberts, Sean Mooney even made an appearance on this show. There's so many. I'm sure we're missing other names of stuff, but again, this was the show. The reason the show is so important, though, is this is what really kicked off what became the Elite and AEW. So big moment in wrestling history, especially for independent wrestling, because again, then it then kickstarted a bunch of these great guys that were all indie wrestlers to form what is now AEW.
Yeah. You had the pre-show was the over-budget Battle Royal, correct?
Correct, yes.
I recall. I thought that was fantastic. You had a lot of legends in there. You had Bully Ray. You had Tommy Dreamer.
Colt.
Colt was in that one.
Colt was in there. I think Marco Stutt was in there. The guy I can't remember his name, but the guy with no legs who's a wrestler.
Oh, that's right. I mean, it was really something.
Yeah, it was. And the funny thing is, again, the whole thing started off of Metzler saying not anytime soon that they could do basically an indie show with 10,000 people.
Yeah.
Attendance was 11,263 people.
Not inflated WWE figures either.
Sold out right away. Not right away, but sold out in like
10 minutes.
Like, yeah. Tickets were unbelievably reasonably priced. I remember looking at the pricing for the tickets before they went on sale and was like, it was like $100 or $200 for front row.
Yeah.
And in hindsight, I will always regret that I didn't pull the trigger on buying tickets to that show, especially being Chicago is a 6-hour drive. So it was like, man, yeah. Again, an amazing show. It made history. I remember watching it and just geeking out.
Oh, totally. I honestly, man, I'll tell you what. I felt like initially when I paid for that pay-per-view, I thought, God, man, because you get so used to watching the network and you use $10 a month, and you're like, yeah, you get to watch everything. So here comes this pay-per-view down the pike, and it's $50, and I'm like, $50?
Yeah, and then you get that whole and it's just indie guys.
But I didn't feel so bad about it being indie guys, because these are guys that I mean, I'm familiar with most of them, not all of them, but most of them, because at this point I'm listening to Busted Open Radio on Sirius XM all the time, so I know what's going on. I'm paying real close attention, but I'm like $50, man. I'm trying to think, when was the last time I paid $50 for a pay-per-view?
Yeah, I was the same.
And it would have been like what was it 18 that had Hogan in The Rock?
Yeah, man.
I mean, that was the last time I actually paid for a pay-per-view.
Yeah, it was. I remember being like, man, that's a lot of money considering like I remember being like, and no offense to the work involved, the people involved or anything, but it was just like, this isn't WWE. This is going to be a bunch of guys who are really great. And I obviously paid attention to everything they were doing, but I was like, man, I kind of wish it was like $25. This feels like I'm paying WWE prices for a show that may not be WWE production level and quality. But I mean, the thing is, by the end of the show, it was like, man, I'd have paid $100. By
the end of the show, and I don't even think it was the end of the show. After the Battle Royal, I was hopped, and I think you and I may have talked about this after the fact. It was about as perfectly run a show, about as perfectly stacked a show in terms of the order as they could have had.
Yeah, it was a near perfect show, other than a few things going too long.
Well, yeah, I would say the only thing that I felt like was weird and way out of place was Joey Ryan's March of the Dongs.
Yeah, were you watching the Elite though? Like,
I wasn't watching the Elite at the time.
Yeah, I was watching the Elite religiously during.
You knew what was going on,
and I knew exactly, and I was like, But I also, in the back of my mind, was like, man, if you weren't watching the Elite and knew the whole storyline of him and Hangman,
and
this makes no sense.
And that's the whole thing. Out there. It's like if I like, oh man, I like wrestling. This is a great thing for me to watch with my kid because I want to support it. And then my kid's like, Dad, what are those? I'm like, yeah, they're white trees.
Right. Yeah. I think it was one of those things. I don't think they, it was kind of.
It clearly didn't hurt him.
Yeah. And I think it was one of those things like, hey, we're going all out because if we don't get to do this again,
Yeah.
We're going to do everything we want. So they did. And now that AEW's come around, I think it's like, okay, we can't do penis jokes now. Hence why Joey Ryan hasn't signed on, because I'm sure they were like, hit them and WWE, no matter how much they would want Joey Ryan and especially AEW to keep him doing what he's doing.
Yeah.
He can't go on TNT and have people grab his dick every night. Like, you can't do it. So let's not talk anymore about it. Otherwise, we're going to keep going. And I'd rather just save it when we can go through the full card, because it was an amazing card. So, yeah. So good show. And again, next week, we're going to bring you a brand new name. We're going to rebrand the show.
I wonder what we'll call it.
I don't know. Something wrestling. I don't know.
Wrestling?
I don't know. For me, though, I'm more than likely have another show this week with Wes Briscoe. So the Briscoe Big Ace show. Make sure you check it out. If you haven't already, make sure you go to our YouTube page, the Briscoe and Big Ace show, or Facebook, and check out last week's episode. I think it was Thursday night. We chatted it up with Chavo Guerrero Jr.
Fantastic show.
Yeah, did you get to see any of it?
I have not yet.
No, that's cool.
You need to learn. I can compliment the show, but never ask me if I've seen it.
It was really fun. It's worth checking out.
You watched it. What was your favorite part?
The part where you guys were talking about wrestling?
Yeah, that one time when he talked about Eddie.
Right. Did we even? Yeah, I think we did mention Eddie. I will warn anybody watching, for the first 20 minutes to almost a half hour, I'm pretty quiet. It's one of those things, like if you and I bring a guest on, and especially if it's someone we're not too familiar with, it's easier for us to kind of like, we're going to ask questions and we're going to get to know them, whatever. When we did that show with Chavo, it's two friends who haven't seen each other in a long time connecting again.
You don't want to get in the way.
And then me. So when they started going to town about stories from back in the day, I just let them go.
Yeah.
So the first half of the show, I'm pretty freaking quiet, and I just let those two go. Towards the other last half, though, I get more involved with it. Chavo is an amazing dude. Check it out. It was really cool to talk to him too, because I kind of forgot about it, but he's also the lead trainer for Glow on Netflix for all of the wrestling.
Oh, he is?
Yeah. So, yeah, which is crazy, because the original Glow back in the 80s, all those women were trained by his uncle.
Oh, no kidding.
I think Hector. Guerrero. So, or no, Mondo. It was Mondo Guerrero who did the Glow. And now he is doing it for the TV show.
Oh, that's great.
And I mean, you've seen him, right? You've seen all the Glow?
Oh, yeah.
He's in some of it. Yeah, he trained all those people, all those actresses to do the wrestling from day one. So it was really cool to kind of hear him talk about wrestling, and then kind of hear him talk about kind of Hollywood.
Yeah. So,
and then cool, you cool. You get to hear some cool stories of him and Wes from back in the day, and being out and TNA stuff, because they worked together in TNA. They wrestled each other in TNA. So it was a very cool show, man. I was really honored to have the privilege to be on that show with those guys and get to chat up with Chavo Guerrero, who's a great guy. I've met him a few times, but it's fun to actually get to talk to him and get to know him a little bit more. So check that out on YouTube. The Briscoe and Big A show. We'll bring you one this week too. Just watch on our Facebook or Twitter for the announcement of when it's going down. And we're working on some more guests too. I know Jake Hager's still one of those ones coming out. We might be talking with Slater soon.
Oh, very cool.
Stuff like that. So it's worth checking out.
I just noticed he just now went up on Cameo.
Yeah.
Which $70, reasonable.
Hell yeah. So Papa Briscoe is on there as well, Mr.
Yeah, I saw that. He's $55. I've priced everybody. The one that I'm going to get.
Are you going to get some?
I know I'm going to get one for sure. And I can't believe it's this expensive. Coachman is like $25. And I'm like, what the hell? So what I just want him to do his best normal announcer voice. And I just wanted to say, there's nothing like a good wrestling show. And folks, this is nothing like a good wrestling show. Anyway,
Can you download those then? Yeah, you can download the video clip they send you, right?
Yeah.
And then like we can use them.
Yeah.
Oh,
I said, well, one of my friends that's a realtor had somebody do it, and I thought, oh, that's kind of chintzy. You didn't even edit out the cameo part. You didn't even edit out the logo, you punk.
Yeah, that's some good cheap marketing right
The
there.
hell yeah! It's like I was like, oh yeah. When I don't watch a wrestling podcast, it's this one.
I like it.
So plenty of those. So you got that coming up again on Thursday, you think?
I'm not sure yet. Sometime this week we'll be doing one.
Keep an eye out though, folks. Go ahead and subscribe over at Wes and Big Ace on YouTube. Subscribe here if you would too, if you haven't already. As far as me, John Russell, I have been doing interviews with different comedians and people I know that are in the media for the past month. I do them on my own page on Facebook, YouTube. I got a page that 5 people are subscribed to that because I don't market it well, kind of like this one. But the Goonies Comedy Club page, it's on there. It's on my own page. It's on Twitter. It's on Twitch as well. If you're a Twitch follower or watcher, I put it on there as well. But so that's every day at 1 o'clock in the afternoon Central Time. Then this Thursday, tomorrow, I'm also doing one at 2:15, just because I got to probably take a 15-minute pee break with one of my best pals, headliner Mark Poulos, he's had like 10 million views on Dry Bar Comedy. Mark Poulos, he'll be with me tomorrow afternoon for who knows how long. We're going to talk about the podcast we did that was a scripted podcast. In essence, it was a radio play. Called One Step from the Spotlight. And it's really, really funny. And it's a little bit of it's dated now.
How many people watching know what radio play means?
Nobody. That's the reason. Again, we did something that was so funny. I mean, it's like a cross between WKRP and The Office, except it's on radio. There's no, and we were looking at trying to get it animated, and it's just like it's too expensive. And the hope was somebody would hear it and say, "God, well, this is pretty good. This is funny. You guys we should do something with this." But it's just sitting there now. We did 17 episodes. We're going to talk about that a little bit tomorrow. And then Thursday night, you'll probably want to watch this if you're not doing anything Thursday night. I'm going to do my first interview kind of thing show in the evening. Mostly I've been doing them at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, so I got a reason to wake up in the morning. But we're going to do one Thursday night at 7 o'clock. And
that reason to wake up in the morning's getting later.
It's always later. but I'm going to have 3 of my old radio pals. And I might have you come in and do a little cameo if you want to. But I'm going to have Jeff Cecil. I'm going to have Tracy McRae. I'm going to have Megan Kennedy.
All right.
So we're all going to get together and tell old stories about the business, and that'll be the first one I do at night, which I'm kind of interested to see how that goes, because I know there's still a lot of people working at 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
Oh yeah,
don't know what the hell I'm doing.
Well, that's good though. That's lunch break. You're hitting a good crowd.
Man, it's okay. Well, I had comedian John Bush that's been doing comedy for close to 30 years now, and he's been on everything. He was on HBO back when HBO did a lot of comedy. He was on Live at Gotham. He's on a ton of different stuff. He was. Do you remember Triumph the Insult Comedy Dog? Mm-hmm. When Triumph did his political thing back in 2016, John was on part of the thing when he was following the campaigns around.
Okay, what was that? Was that Robert Smigel?
Robert Smigel, yeah.
Yeah. Dude, Triumph's a class. Yeah. I still watch YouTube.
Dude, one of my favorites. With Triumph is when he's doing the weather in Hawaii.
My favorite is when he goes to the hot dog joint in Chicago, the one that they talk back to all the people when they order. And he gets into the yelling match with the black lady behind there. Oh my God. And he's got what's the guy's name? dude from 30 Rock that's always just like really nice and smiley, the nerdy looking guy.
Oh, yeah, I know who you're talking about, but I can't
He
think
has
of his
him
name.
with him, and he's like, he gets yelled at by them at the hot dog joint, and he comes back with triumph. So,
So much. It's just, and it's so funny. And he did, the Saturday morning Funhouse.
Yep.
That was part of his deal too. But anyway, that's and all of those are saved. So if you want to go back and watch some cool interviews with some national headliners, some local Minneapolis comedians, guys around the Midwest, they're all saved on the Goonies comedy page. You can actually find them here on YouTube as well, or here on YouTube. We're on 4 different spots tonight. We're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, we're on Twitter, and we're on Twitch. So I don't know if they're saved on Twitch. So if you watch on Twitch, look me up on Facebook or YouTube, and you can see all of those if you'd like to.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's the new thing. We have a Briscoe and Big Ace show, Twitch, now. So
yeah, baby.
If you're on Twitch, check out me, Wes Briscoe and Big Ace show.
Sounds like a good deal. All right, folks. For those of you that watched, we really appreciate it very, very much. If you got an idea for what we should call this, go ahead, drop us a note. We'll take any idea under consideration, because honestly, I don't know what we're going to call it.
Yeah, I know. I've been thinking. I have a couple ideas. But
well, yeah. In the meantime, it'll still be the Masked Comedian Xcast until we come up with something better.
I think we'll be able to do it by next Tuesday.
In a week?
I think so.
I got to tell you, my mind just goes to mush with all of this stuff. I got people asking me to. I had a guy from Los Angeles send a message in to Goonies, and he's legit. He was on Last Comic. He's on BuzzFeed.
Like he wants to do the club, or he wants to
he wants to do the interview
with you. Nice.
Yeah. Eric Escobar's his name, and I'm like, okay. I mean, I got to figure out. But the thing is like I got to figure out so I can schedule it, because I'm like 2.5 weeks out with this shit.
Oh yeah. You should reach out to my good old buddy from back in the day, Nicholas Anthony.
Oh yeah, shit, he'd do it.
I love that guy.
I haven't seen it. He did one of the live from my garages with Poulos and I back when we were still doing that up at his house.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, Nick's an awesome guy too.
Nicky Tony, baby.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, my friend, anything else you can think of?
Oh man, we'll see you next week.
All right, buddy. Thank you guys for watching. We appreciate it very, very much. Take care. We'll see you again next week at 8:00. Bye-bye.